Good morning, race fans. A happy Maryland Million Day. Naomi Tucker alongside Tim Tulloch. Tim, we've been waiting for this day to arrive for a multitude of weeks now. Very much been looking forward to it. The weather is good. We have full field sizes, some terrific action coming your way. I mean, how excited are you?
I'm extremely excited. And this weekend, is second to the Preakness as far as preparation and excitement. And it's a little bit different feel than the Preakness. The Preakness is an event that you need to be at some point if you haven't. Maryland Million is a little bit more of a festival feeling. Everybody comes out. Everyone's dressed up. The tents are up. Flowers are out. And wow, what a card the racing office put together this year's Maryland Million. I think it's one of the best cards for Maryland Million we've had in probably 4 or 5 years.
I have to wholeheartedly concur with that. Not easy handicapping
No.
at all. Really terrific field sizes. A couple of storylines. We'll touch upon them as well. And you highlighted the hospitality tents are out. I walked around this morning and you know what? I wouldn't mind coming along and, betting some ponies and having some fun in the hospitality tents. We're going to be in the thick of things, but I definitely would recommend everyone to come and join us.
It's a good day because I didn't have a lot of Maryland Million runners when I trained, so I spent the day in those tents, and I can assure you it's a good day.
And if you are playing the fields today, which I really believe you should, we do have a couple of promotions coming your way. Full card money back special, meaning that your win bet gets refunded if your horse finishes second or third, up to $10 maximum, as well as an additional $5,000 going into the pool for the late pick fours, the late pick four split. And then if you purchase a Maryland Million program, you do get a hat as well. Look at that gorgeous hat. We were saying yesterday, Tim, I'm going to go and get my hands on one.
I think you should. Yeah, I think you should. You wear the hat well, so you should get the hat. I'm going to get a hat somewhere during the day. But yeah, it's a good day. I can't wait to get it started.
And of course, we did have the Stronach 5 yesterday. We had a huge carryover there. I mean, it was not an easy sequence. We knew this beforehand. And wow, the results speak for themselves. We have 4 tickets, and each of them paid how much, Tim?
$98,311, and don't forget the 20 cents. That was 4 winning tickets. It was a tough sequence, no doubt about it. I had, I think, 3 winners in the sequence. I got bounced right here at the Laurel Park, but that happens. But yeah, it was a great bet, and congratulations to those of you who figured it out for 98 grand.
I mean, both of us did see in the first opening leg Figlio Del Rey for Graham Motion.
Yep.
We did see him coming, but the fourth leg here, Laurel Park, the number 4 coming in, that was absolutely unprecedented. I did like Utrecht at Gulfstream Park. Literally unprecedented. I did like Utrecht at Gulfstream Park as well, but what a great sequence. And as usual, huge payouts during the Stronach 5. So, one of the best wagers across the country, including all of the Stronach tracks. Really, really enjoyable. And we'll be back again next week. But let's have a look at what is coming up today. Track conditions. Gosh, that grass is looking beautiful. 52 feet, the rail is out for that first turf race. We have 5 turf races in total, 4 going long, going to 2 turns, 1 sprint, and, a nice crispy air, fast main track as well.
It's a perfect Maryland Million Day. It's fall. It's supposed to feel like fall. Horses love this type of weather. If it stays a little overcast all day, that makes the pictures better and the horse is more comfortable. So we're looking forward to a good day, and you see all the tents up on the apron from pretty much the 3/16 pole all the way down to the paddock.
Look, I agree with you. The horses love this kind of weather, and good pick up there on the pictures. Everyone take a nice little picture whilst you're at the races, showing you're having fun with everyone here. But let's get going. 12 races on the card, so much to go through, including all those Maryland Million Stakes events. We'll kick things off here in race number 1 with the Maryland Million Turf Starter Handicap, 1.125 the distance on the grass here. So we kick things off on the beautiful lawn. And look, Tim, you landed on the same horse I did, the number 7, Be Determined. We do have a video of his start 2 starts ago. That was right here over Mountain 16 at Laurel. You can see he was quite far away, but he saved the ground. Did have to kind of, wait and kind of see where to go. Forest Boys kind of trying to spy where everyone was going. Pulls him out into the clear. looks like the rockets go on and he shoots forward.
He's been in really, really good form all year long. And keep in mind, that horse that's winning, Takafumi, that's a bit of a serious horse. He'd come up from Colonial Downs with some really, really, really good form. So it was no shame in running second to Takafumi that day. He's been running solid figures all year long, getting Charlie Marquez this afternoon. A sharp work since that last race, and you just could not get by this one. It stretches back out to a mile and an eighth, this afternoon, and I think that helps them also.
I think that's going to work. And both of us also landed on the number 1 Elementary for Susan Cooney. 3 starts ago, very, very sharp win there, closing from out of the clouds. I mean, he was about 6 lengths away still, or about 4 lengths away, still having to make up a lot of ground here. Kind of, I think, bounced a little bit in that last outing. Just, didn't get away that well. Had to try and go wide. Not his day. I'm looking for him to get back.
I think he will. I mean, look, he didn't get away, as you mentioned, in his last start. His form is a little spotty. There's no doubt about it. He very rarely runs 2 good ones in a row. However, if his form cycle holds up, he'll show up today with a positive race for Susan Cooney and Javion Toledo.
Yeah, I think he will indeed. Race number 2, another Maryland Million, starter Maryland Million distaff at handicap 7 furlongs the distance here. And look, both of us use the same horse, and I also decided to go with an early pick of 4 in here. Not an easy sequence. The moment I was looking through it, I was like, well, you know what? We're going to have some value, though. $36 flat, 1, 3, 4, and 8 for me here over the 7 furlongs, because I feel like I can make a case for a couple of these. And then the first Maryland Million stakes race, the Maryland Million Lassie race number 3. I key around 2 horses. My price play, Luna Bell, and the number 6, Waterworks, comes in here for Steve Asmussen. We know how tough Steve is when he brings horses over. Race number 4, I go 3 deep again in the Maryland Million Ladies, mile and 8th on the turf, 4, 7, and 12. The 12, my top selection. Do you believe it? You also have Judy Blue Eyes on top here for Claudio Gonzalez. Look, she's been ultra sharp. I would love to see her get back to some of her performances 3 starts ago, 5 starts ago. That's when she was really in peak form going along. I'd like to see her get back to that, but I think she's very capable of still besting this field. Race 5, 7 furlongs the distance, 4, 7, and 10 for me there. Kind of keying around a couple of runners here. The number 4, Crush It, definitely caught my eye, as well as the number 7 towards the outside. Hot and Spicy Love for Tim Kreiser. $36 flat, early pick 4. I think we're going to see a couple of prices. We have deep fields, sizable fields. You want to go deep, right?
Absolutely. And I think you could start right here in the first leg of the early pick 4, race 2, which is a race I think is wide open. I think our picks probably reflect that a little bit as we dig into the second here on Maryland Million Day.
Yeah, that's the Maryland Million distaff starter handicap. And look, Tim, you landed on Calypso Ghost for Rudy Sanchez Solomon on the rail. Luis Garcia aboard. I use her underneath as well. Look, she's ultra game, ultra sharp. 2 back-to-back victories. Just got nosed out there after dueling on the lead for the entire time. Thing is, though, I'd love for her to scoot away and be by herself on the lead, but I don't think Little Bit of Lily is going to let her do that.
I don't think so either. I don't think so either, and that's a downside. But I'm going to stay with Calypso Ghost. She's in very, very good form for a trainer who's having a fantastic fall meet. He's winning at 29% here at Laurel Park. She's got to get away from the fence. If she can get to the lead and maybe open up just a little bit of daylight on Little Bit of Lily early, she could take this field a long way, especially going 7/8 of a mile. And so I'm looking for her to run well today. Now, she hasn't won going 7/8 of a mile, but two of her 3 races have been very, very good efforts with a decent buyer speed figure sitting there. She's been second twice going 7/8. So I'm going to stay on Calypso Ghost. She's 8-1 on the line.
Oh, I love that. Bit of a price play there. I landed on Leaky Cauldron, the number 8 here. Is stepping it up to 7 furlongs as well, but just love some of her closing efforts. She's the kind of runner that's going to allow perhaps a little bit of Lily Calypso Ghost to go forward and say, all right, you go do your thing. I'm going to sit on your tail, and then I'm going to make that late move and try and run them down. And
a rider like Tyler Connor is very good at doing that type of thing. She fired a lifetime best in the slop last time out in a first level allowance condition at Penn National. If she can convert any of her numbers from Penn National to Laurel this afternoon, she's strictly the one to beat. I'm trying to beat her, but I think at the end of the day, you're on the right horse.
I think she's the horse to beat in that field.
So
I'm hoping in that perspective, it's going to be formful. Race number 3, the first of the Maryland Million Stakes event. The Maryland Million Lassie 2-year-old fillies going 6 furlongs. Look, I like this race. I think there's a couple of horses you have to use, you have to touch upon. My price play is in here. That is the number 2 Luna Bell. But let's first go and look at a race that highlights a couple of runners in here. Buff by Boots, Sparkle, Sprinkle. You can see the number 3 and the number 2. You can see Buff My Boots coming inwards ever so slightly there. Look, both of them kind of shot to the front. Buff My Boots very hard ridden to get on the inside of Sparkle, Sprinkle. I think the two didn't help each other at that point.
They certainly didn't. And you would hope that Xavier Perez and JD Acosta, both back aboard today as they were aboard this day, kind of go, that didn't work. Maybe we should do something different, because as they look pretty live here, coming down to the wire, they get just absolutely engulfed late. One getting beat 8 lengths, the other one getting beat 12 lengths. So, maybe one of the two can lay off a little bit and not pressure each other, because it certainly didn't work. And if they do that again, it could set up for your top pick a little bit of a closer at 5-1, the 2 Luna Bell.
Yeah, so if they start cancelling each other out and really going to the front, you start looking at the horses that love to kind of sit behind them, one being Luna Bell. Now look, that last race on paper does not look good at all, but what did happen? She's a strong filly in the mornings. Hamilton Smith was telling me, look, my exercise already, they know her, they keep a good hold of her. Horatio took her away from the pony, she got keen, ended up running to the final turn. I think she probably left the race on the track at that point. Of course, she got checked out extensively by veterinarians, and they gave her the all clear to go. And she ran incredibly. It's not like she put in a clunker, but I think she's better than what she showed on that occasion. I think she's going to come back with a much better performance. I think hence she's a price user on top here. But possibly the horse to beat is the 6, Waterworks, with this possible speed setup.
I think so. Coming off a big race, going a mile at Monmouth Park for Steve Asmussen. He's very good when he turns one back, about 21%. That was an impressive win. Ran a good speed figure that day. Goes to Fergal Lynch, who is Steve Asmussen's main Maryland man here at Laurel Park, and 5 works since then. And look, Steve comes down here. His horses are ready to run. They always look lights out in the paddock, and they're tough to beat. But look, the 1 Dowser, this is another horse could benefit from a good speed duel up front and finish up, ran decently first time out, beat a next out winner that particular day for Michael Matt. So this race is interesting. We'll see how it all shakes out, but it's a good way to start the big stakes here.
I feel like both juvenile events today are incredibly competitive, very much trying to figure out who to put on top here. But yeah, key on a price play, and of course the Hall of Famer coming in, all-time winningest trainer in North America, sending Waterworks over.
He's tough to beat.
He's hard to beat. I'm trying to here, but he's very hard to beat. Race number 4, the Maryland Million Ladies. Fillies a mess, a mile and 1/8 on the turf here, 3-year-olds and upwards. And look, both of us landed on the same runner again here. I think we're kind of a little bit in unison. Let's hope we're correct and form. Judy Blue Eyes, trainer Claudio Gonzalez. Look, she was ultra game over the summer at Pimlico on the turf. She was just winning one after the other and just always turns up. Perhaps in her last 2 didn't get the best setup, so she was a little bit outkicked. I'm wondering, can we see the real Judy Blue Eyes starting back up again? Because I need her to come back to that form.
I think she steps forward right here this afternoon. She gets back here to Maryland. She's coming off 2 races. The Pimlico course was a yielding course. It simply didn't agree with her in the all brandy. She was just under 4-1, so she was pretty well backed. The Delaware race, the course gets a little roughed up toward the end of the meet at Delaware, and I think some horses just get to the point where they don't like it. And she didn't run bad that day. She only got beat 2.5 lengths.
But maybe a bit of a premature move in that race. Right. She hit the front and just ended up being outkicked.
But she comes off that classic Claudio Gonzalez, a little bit of a layoff, 30 days, 2 works. How many times have we seen Claudio make this move? Gives them just a light freshening with a couple good works. 22% of the time this move works for Claudio. I think it works again for Judy Blue Eyes this afternoon.
That's the Claudio Gonzalez special. A little bit of rest, couple of works. Let's see how we're doing, and then place them when they're really jumping out their skin again at home. So hopefully Judy Blue Eyes is indeed going to do that for us. Both of us use the number 7 underneath Missy's Banshee. I used her in second here because according to Brittany Russell, she works like a turf horse. Now I did look up the pedigree. Dam was a turf horse. Dam was second by a neck in the Brookmead over mile and 16 on the turf, and her half-sister, Call Me Plucky, is also with Brittany Russell and ran third on her second start, going long on turf. So it seems like everything's kind of pointing in the direction that this filly would take the next step, moving on the turf. But look, her first time going long on the main track, she won with a very decent figure.
Well, Brittany Russell's winning at 35%. So if Brittany told me it was Easter, I'd paint my eggs. That's just the way it is. Look, there's no doubt about it. She fired a big number going long. We know she can go long, 72 by her speed figure. Look, the breeding works. Yeah, yep. She should appreciate the turf, and certainly Misty's Banshee considers, you've got to consider Misty's Banshee.
You have to use her underneath as
no
well.
Doubt.
Race number 5, we're back with the starter handicaps here. Marilyn Million starting handicap for 3-year-olds and up. 7 furlongs the distance here. Middle pick 4 time.
A little pick 4 time, and I spread here in a race of 5, $24 ticket. I use the 4, the 6, the 7, and the 9. The 4, my top pick. Crush it for Hugh McMahon in that spot. Race 6, I use the 6 and 9. Race 7, the 2 and 5, and I spread a little bit in the 8th, the 1, 6, and 10. That's a $24 ticket for the middle pick 4. We've got tickets all over the joint today. We've got a pick 6 later with Callie Francois, but you can find all our tickets. Go to laurelpark.com. Click on the handicapping section and our daily picks, and they'll all, poof, appear right in front of you.
It's all there. Of course, do check for scratches and trades when it comes to our daily picks, because they were from a couple of days ago, and we do have a couple of significant changes thus far. But let's talk about your top selection in here, Tim. The number 4, Crush It for Hugh McMahon, first off the claim for the McMahon stable. Look, comes off the back of a very strong win.
He does.
Was close to a sort of a bit of a slower pace at Penn. Hence, I feel he was a little bit closer than he usually gets. He likes to be 2-3 lengths off, but he's a tenacious runner that can get placed in any of those options. And I kind of like that in terms of the jockeys having possibilities.
Big win. Big speed figure in his last start, August 20th. His first off the claim for Hugh McMahon. He hits at about 20%. He's given this one it just appears to me that he claimed this horse with this in mind, because he gave this one a little bit of a break. Doesn't look like he gave him a break because there was an issue. He comes back with a work, 3 weeks after he ran. Has 3 really good works, a sharp work sitting on top of this race. And his best lifetime race has been going 7/8 of a mile, which he's going to get here this afternoon. Jamie Rodriguez rides 3-1 on the morning line.
Yeah, I use Hot and Spicy Love, who actually did best Crush It 3 starts ago. That was going the mile. He was on the lead that day. I don't think he's going to be that forwardly placed here. You saw he was campaigned 6, 6.5. I think getting back up to 7 is just what he needs. He just starts sharper a little bit longer.
Yeah, look, the race at Penn going a mile, a big race, and he comes back with a nice race at Penn going 3/4 mile. Throw out the Charlestown race. He had the break from the rail in a big field, and sometimes you just get lost down in there and you can't do anything. It's tight. You can't get out. Draw a line through that. He's had a good work since then. And, Timothy Kreiser, when he brings horses down here, they're ready to go.
That's what I think. I use him on top. We'll take a quick break, but do stay with us. We've got so much more action to discuss.
Join us for Jim McKay Maryland Million Day on Saturday, October 23rd at Laurel Park, where Maryland's Day at the Races is fun for all ages. Enjoy a full day of Maryland horse racing and entertainment. For more information, visit MarylandMillion.com.
Welcome back, Naomi Tucker, Tim Tulloch at Laurel Park for the 36th running of the annual Jim McKay Maryland Million Day. We are on race number 6, the Maryland Million Turf Sprint, 5.5 furlongs on the grass. And look, Tim, we were discussing this race beforehand. It seems like this is Grateful Bred's race to win and hopefully not to lose, but unfortunately, he does need a little bit of luck in running. Let's look back at his last race. That was in the Laurel Dash, and he did not get lucky at all. Ends up behind runners, sharp, steady, early, ends up fanning very wide, just misses out.
Yeah, I mean, look, he just gets himself in a little bit of trouble right here. You see the red silks having to tap the brakes. Then he has to get his momentum back. And, when you're going 5.5 furlongs, especially in this group, I mean, look at this finish. These are some serious turf horses. XYZ Jet is on the fence. He ends up winning the race. But look at them. They're all coming. These are serious runners. Grateful Bred has been keeping some really, really good company. and I think this race will work for him. I was tempted to single on him in my middle pick 5, but it's still So Street's in here. That horse could be Tough Rock the Boat. We don't know what that horse is all about yet. But this, I think, is the horse to beat. And like I said, he ran against Belgrano, XY Speed, a horse you might have heard of called Faya. If he hasn't been winning, he's been running against gorillas. And I don't know if there's that big of a gorilla in this race.
No, I think he is the heavyweight in this spot, and I hopefully he's not going to get the trouble that he got in his last race. Because like you said, 5.5 furlongs, there is just no margin for error.
Not a lot.
If you get steady like that, you got to be a good horse to come back from it.
Especially in that field.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
in a different field, you might be able to overcome it, but in that field, those horses were just too tough.
They were indeed. I used Rock the Boat on this because you just alluded to it. We just don't know how good he is yet. I did get the chance to speak to Robbie Bells beforehand, and he was highlighting that the fact they've, been campaigning him lightly as a 3-year-old was actually one of the best things to do for him. Gave him the time to grow into himself. Possibly the fact that we had a couple of breaks, of course, also with, COVID and everything. It worked for him. This horse has really grown into himself. He's, in my books, got the right to be here. I think he's the horse that we still don't know how good he is yet, and hence the most potential to jump up.
There's no doubt that he's earned the right to be here. He's run 3 really, really good races. His last race, a good speed figure in his 78 on the turf in that state-bred first level allowance. We don't know how good he is. This is a step up, no doubt about it. This is a bit of a test, but he does belong in here. At some point, you got to say, okay, let's take this step up. Let's see where we really fit, and we'll find out today with Rock the Boat. But you have to like him a little bit, for sure.
You use So Street in your exactive trainer, Jamie Ness, Jamie Rodriguez aboard. Look, decent 6th in that Laurel Dust. We saw that blanket finish, just needed a little bit more. I did speak with Amanda Diamond, assistant trainer to Jamie Ness, who actually gets on this horse every single day. And she was saying, you know what, he is bouncing at home. Look, he's a 4-year-old. It's not like he's going to, change in terms of his abilities. He's shown us kind of what he is, but he's really, really doing well. And you know what? His best could be good enough to topple them.
He's been a little bit of a hard luck horse. I mean, he's running good figures, as you mentioned. He's just not getting the results. But he's been, again, this is another horse. He's lined up against Firecrow, Completed Pass, XY Speed. So he's been running against some tough horses, too. This, he still runs at the Grateful Bred today, and that's why I use him in my exacta. But this could be the day that So Street breaks through with Jamie Rodriguez. Rodriguez and Jamie Ness, they hit at about 27%. So this could be the day for the 6th So Street, but he's gonna have to work for it, for sure.
Yeah, he will indeed. I do think Grateful Bred is going to be a tough beat in this spot, but the horses that we just mentioned underneath definitely found their chances here, and I think that you have to use them in your exotic place.
Yeah, I mean, this race is a tough little heat. I mean, you think of the horses that we didn't even talk about. Sue Loves Barbados, Love You Much. Joseph. We've got a couple horses that we didn't even get to. This is a tough heat. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Absolutely. Race number 7 is the Maryland Million Distaff. 7 furlongs, the distance. Look, we're hoping to see history being written here. Maryland's darling, Hello Beautiful, looking for that 3rd consecutive Maryland Million race win. Victress of the Maryland Million Distaff last year, Lassie the year before. We're just looking at her last race here. That was in the weather vane, and like she was just in a different league here.
Yeah, she was in a different league. This was a public workout. She got right to the front and just kept on cruising. This race was going 3/4 of a mile. She goes 7/8 this afternoon. That's where she's run her best races, going 7/8 of a mile. This is, I don't think she has a bad sprint distance, but she seems to be a little bit better going 7/8. She's got that high cruising speed, which is just perfect for 7/8. You see her just do her things here. Javion Toledo just shakes the reins out a little bit. She says, okay, let's go. See you later. And get me back to the barn, cool me out. I'm hungry. And look.
I've done my job.
So, look, she's the horse to beat. There's no getting around that. She's a 7-time stakes winner. She's a 9-time winner in her life. She's almost unbeatable at Laurel Park. She loves it here. She's 7 of 4-8. I think she'll be tough to beat, but I don't think they're going to make it easier on her. I really don't. These guys are out here to win, and they're going to put pressure on her.
I'm afraid you're right. This field is not going to let her get away with easy splits up front. I think she is going to bounce from the gate like she does and she loves to do. But you got an incredibly sharp filly on your inside as well. Street Loot.
Yeah, we're going back to Hello Beautiful. Sometimes she doesn't get away the sharpest. That could be an issue this afternoon, but let's move to Street Loop.
Look, she's been very, very sharp, though, from the gate in her last handful. And even, let's say scenarios she doesn't break on top. She's shown us that she can sit and then take over as well.
Yeah, she has shown the ability to sit and take over when she's been on the outside and when she's in clean air. Whether she can do it, you would think she's a mature enough racehorse now that she can do it. But her problem is she's got Street Loop to the inside. And then she has Malibu Beauty to her outside, and I don't think they're going to say, okay, go out there and go how you want. They're going to be putting pressure on her. Street Loop's a 9-time winner. She's won over $500,000. She seems to be rounding back in form. She laid off the pace at Delaware last time, so maybe that's going to be the play today, but she drew the one hole. You just have to imagine she's going to use her speed.
Yeah, 8-time stakes victor, Street Loop, a 3-year-old going up against, of course, Hello Beauty, who's a 4-year-old. But unfortunately, I love Street. I'm absolutely have all the time in the world for this tough filly. I just don't think this is going to be her race. I think she's better over 6. I think it's not ideal that she's drawn on the rail. That gives her no options whatsoever to see what's going on. They're going to come at her. She's got to use her speed because that's her main weapon. You've got to use your main ammo. But let's talk a little bit more about what you were saying, the speed setup, because you used a couple of other horses in here. The number 5, Fille d'Esprit, who's incredibly in sharp form as well, Jerry Robb. She's going to kind of sit behind her, or do you think she would pressure her early? Who's going to pressure Hello Beautiful?
Malibu Beauty and Street Loop. And look, Street Loop, Fille d'Esprit happens to be trained by John Robb, who trains strange Street Loop. But look, this is a nice mare. I mean, she's coming back off a lengthy layoff, but she won 4 in a row before she was put on the shelf. She ran some good, strong numbers, and look at her work tab, Naomi. She has been firing it up in the morning. 111s, 111 and change from the gate, 59s. She's ready, 57 and 4. Jerry Robb's going to have this one ready to go. She likes to lay off horses 2-3 lengths. She's going to get that set up, no doubt about this afternoon. First time stretching out the 7/8 of a mile, and 7/8 of a mile can be a little tricky off the layoff, but I don't think with her running style. I think with her running style, she lays there, and if they fold up front, she's going to be coming. Make the rider J.D. Acosta.
Yeah, and that's why I use Whispering Pines underneath, because I think the key to this race is the distance. It's not 6, it's 7. A lot of these fillies and mares in here like the 6 a touch better than the 7. Now, Hello Beautiful loves the 7, hence I use her on top. Whispering Pine is at her best over 7 furlongs. This is the filly that when they go blistering up front, and if anyone's pressuring and they go too fast, Whispering Pines is the one that's going to come out of the woodwork, pick up all the pieces. So I use her in second based on that.
No doubt about that. Look at those 2 races from Saratoga this past summer. Back-to-back 85 speed figures. She didn't win, but she ran well, and those are tough heats. A little overnight stake at Saratoga, and then a 2 other than at Saratoga. Those races are no give-me's. Nope, I can guarantee it.
Not.
And she ran very, very well. Draw a line through that last start, going 3/4 mile up there at Belmont Park. I'm going to give her a pass on that because she certainly has shown up the rest of the summer.
Absolutely. Race number 8, the other juvenile event, the Maryland Million Nursery. 6 furlongs, the distance as well. And both you and I, Tim, are keying around the number 10, Mr. Mox. Look, it's a sharp cutback from his victory at Delaware over a mile. But to me, that's not going to pose a problem. He ran his first 2 lifetime races sprinting 5 furlongs, showed an abundance of speed there. I just thought what he showed us over the mile is that he's a very talented runner. He can deal with whatever you throw at him, and this cutback is going to suit him.
Coming off a massive win going a mile at Delaware Park. This is a colt, Gelding, actually, who's never run a bad race. Take out the turf race. All his other races have been really solid, good races. His first 2 races going 5/8 of a mile. Jamie Ness. Steve Asmussen pretty good when he takes one from a route to a sprint. Jamie Ness even better. 27% from route to sprint. A couple good works since that last race. So I like Mr. Mox here this afternoon, or Jamie Rodriguez, 9-2 on the morning line.
Yeah, and then both of us use Buff Hello, who's also cutting back from the mile distance in the sapling stakes. Now, he did not actually fire over that distance. He much prefers going shorter in here, as we've shown 2 starts ago with a really, really impressive victory as well. But look, he did run into Mr. Mox on his second career start, and those two, they were kind of evenly matched that day.
They were evenly matched that day. That was a nice race up there at Pimlico. The sapling, as you mentioned, just proved to be too much. A stake going a mile, but he turns back today, coming off that classic 30-day move by Claudio Gonzalez. Only shows one work, but I'm thinking that maybe a work got missed somewhere. But good work on October 9th for Claudio. Getting Charlie Marquez. Charlie Marquez kind of goes under the radar, and Claudio Gonzalez, 38%. 38% Charlie and Claudio with limited amount of starters, but 21 starters over the last couple of years. So
still decent enough number to make judgment
6 to 1. 6 to 1 on the morning line.
Yeah, definitely want to use those. I also use the number 5 Locomotive because I'm starting to look at a couple of price plays underneath for John Saltzman Jr. JD Acosta remains on board. Look, Hickory Tree Victor, that was on the turf. Broke his maiden on the main track before that. Had a bit of a clunker at Timonium, but then came back in a stake at Monmouth, part of the Smoke Glacken, and did actually pretty decently. Ran a better race than most people would have expected after he got vanned off and pulled up at Timonium. Just didn't see out that race, but came back really, really strongly. I think he's sneakily better than that last race might suggest.
Maybe, possibly. I mean, and certainly by the number. I don't always trust the Monmouth numbers.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it's a big number, but he still got beat 5 lengths that day.
True.
It just could be the case of getting dragged to that nice number. But I'm not going to take anything away from him. He's 2 for 4. It was a good race at Monmouth. I just couldn't get to him this afternoon.
Yeah, but let's talk about Coastal Mission. I do believe he's a full brother to Maryland Million Sprint winner Lewisfield, as well as multiple stakes winning sprinter in his own right, and has done nothing but win yet. One career start, but was very professional that day.
Yeah, that was a state-bred race, West Virginia state-bred race for this full brother of Lewisfield. 2 good works since that last race. It's Jeff Runco. Jeff Runco doesn't come over to Maryland very often. When he comes, he usually comes with a horse like Lewisfield. I mean, this is a sharp horseman. He's winning at 26% this year, bringing in his regular rider, Arnaldo Boca Chica, and they just win just about everything at at Charlestown. So look, you've got to give this horse a shot here. And he won that. I know he beat West Virginia breds, but he won by 6.5 lengths. That race was only going 4.5 furlongs. That's a big win going 4.5 furlongs.
Yep, and look, you can only beat what's put in front of you. This is a step up, no doubt about that, but Coastal Mission bred to do well. And look, Arnaldo Boca Chica absolutely runs Charlestown. I think he won 8 races on one day a couple of weeks ago. So whenever he gets the mount on a horse, you want to take another look as well. Race number 9, Maryland Million Turf, 1.8 miles on the lawn here. 3-year-olds and upwards. Both of us, similarly again, Cannon's Roar. Look, Del Capuano, this has been sprinting. This has been going long. In the Laurel Dash, actually very, very game race. He ran sprinting. I've always thought he's a little bit better longer. I do believe trainer Del Capuano agrees with me there. But look, a 7-year-old that just incredibly tough, flexible, can kind of do anything. I think he is a little bit better than some of these in here, but things do have to go right.
I agree, and I think it's a testament to how good a form he's in. Not only did he run a big race in the Laurel Dash, getting beat a half length for the whole thing while sprinting, he ran a lifetime best that afternoon. But I agree with both you and Dale. I think he's probably a little bit better going long. You look at his races now; he's winless this year, but he's run some really good races where he's just gotten beat in a couple, including the West Virginia Speakers Cup out there. A nice little stake. So, yeah, I think Cannon's Roar gets a pretty good trip. He'll be able to save ground. He's going to get outrun a little bit, but I think he comes with a pretty good finish under Charlie Marquez. Look at the work, Dale Capuano, making sure he keeps all his bases covered. Yes. I love this move. Sprints him on October 2nd with a big race, comes back on the 16th, works him a mile. He'll have everything he needs to get the mile and an eighth.
Cannon's Roar is in a tip-top shape. He's going to come in here absolutely, keyed for this race. I'm hoping that he's going to get the win, because I also was looking back at the Sussex Stakes. I remember speaking with Dale afterwards there. He thought that his horse should have won that race. That was so close. That was a very frustrating beat. The horse ran an incredible performance that day. So I think we're going to see something even better than what he's been showing us. But let's talk about some of the others in here, because this is a wide open field. I keyed around the 1. Then I thought the number 5, Some Kind of Magician, was the one to use as well. 2 start to go on a yielding Pimlico turf course, was a winner of the Found, closing in to a pretty slow early pace, actually upgrading that performance even further in my books.
Yeah, he's winner of 3 of his last 4, so he's in very, very good form. His Delaware figures give him a shot here, and so you certainly can't discount him. He's got a sharp work since that last race up there at Delaware 5/8 in 59 and change. He might just be a touch below the top horses, but look, you got to use them. I use them. You use them. Angel Cruz rides.
Yeah, you landed on Nick Papa Giorgio, 3rd in the Maryland Million Turf in 2020. Yep. Has really started to roll back into form. This 5-year-old JD Acosta gets back on. He was on board 2 starts ago in the Find as well. Look, this horse was absolutely rolling towards the wire there.
Yeah, he came off a layoff, hooked a yielding course up there at Pimlico, still ran very well, running 2nd, goes to Presque Isle, gets beat a half length while running 3rd. So this would be third off a little bit of a break, or 4th off a little bit of a break. But I think he's going in the right direction at the right time. He's a 4-time winner or 3-time winner here over the Laurel turf. I like him a little bit here, and I like the fact that JD Acosta's riding him, and he's getting back to a firm turf course.
And how about the number 7, Street Copper? You don't want to sit on him either. Trainer Michael Trombetta, 2 wins away from the 2,000 winner milestone, has won 9 Maryland Million races. Look, the horse has never gone so far, this far in his life. He's only gone a mile 16 and a mile at Colonial. But I do think that Colonial signifies Colonial is kind of a bit more of a European track, goes up and down, really does take a little bit out of horses sometimes in terms of their stamina. So I actually think that this is going to suit the 6-year-old.
This is a horse I think could upset the apple cart a little bit, Street Copper. He comes in off a little bit of a freshening. We haven't seen him since August 24th. He's had 5 good works since that last race. And he's running figures that are competitive to win here. So I'm going to give this horse a shot to upset the whole thing. I have him on my ticket. You have him on the bottom of your ticket. But I would, look, if you're getting 8, 9, 10 to 1 on Street Copper, don't hold back. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Put a $5 or maybe $10 to win, because you do get your $10 back if he finishes 2nd or 3rd. That's
good
one
advice,
of our
Naomi Tucker.
Yeah, that's one of our promotions today.
That's
I say
right.
jump on it. Race number 10, the Maryland Million Sprint. Let's talk about the number 8, Band on Tour, who both of us use underneath. And here we do have a video of his last race, because 4-horse field, he did have the outside draw, quickly cleared, went to the front. Look, Arthur's Hope is trying to get to him here, but Band on Tour just kind of goes, "Ooh, there's one coming. I'll just go a little bit quicker here." Ears pricked, really rolling. This horse is in absolute tip-top shape, like really doing incredibly well as of late. I had nothing to fault on this race.
No, none at all. And he's a winner of 4 of his last 5. He won a 2nd level allowance race, 2 back. We're running a good number, 4 back, a nice win in the state bred allowance race up there at Pimlico. But you see, he holds these horses off. He likes the off going. There's no doubt about that, but he's run well on the fast track like he did at Pimlico, posting that lifetime best number that particular day, or close to lifetime best. 2 sharp works for Gary Capilano since that last start, and Javion Tolino gets the call.
Yeah, on his inside is Double Crown. I do believe the horse to beat in this spot. Tom Amos sends him over. Always had 2 runners at Laurel in the last couple of years, including Little Stitches, who won the Beyond the Wire 6. So whenever he brings one over, they are ready to fire, and they are incredibly live. Look, is now with the Amos bond, was trained by Kathy Ridvo before that. But this horse also has a little bit of experience at Laurel Park. That's where he started with trainer Lacey Godet. Look, that was the older service, of course. We have the newer one now. But this horse has been running against some very tough foes in Florida.
He's been running, yeah, that's absolutely right. His last 4 races down at Gulfstream Park were no give-me's. He's got a win there in an optional allowance claiming race. A Smile, grade 3, only gets beat 4 lengths while running 5th, comes back with a couple a couple of good races. And then he goes to the barn of Tom Amoss and goes to Keeneland, where he's been working really, really well. October 9th, 5/8 mile, 58%. First time in the barn with Tom Amoss. These horses win at about 20%. He's got strong numbers, and he's honest. He shows up every time. 4 wins from 10 starts with 3 seconds and a third. He'll show up again this afternoon. Fergal Lynch, I think, will be going to the winner's circle on Double Crown.
Yeah, and don't forget a second behind Jopan on our circuit in the Grade 3 Chick Lang at Pimlico. That was on Preakness Day that year, because we had the Preakness later on due to the changes in the program with COVID. Let's talk about one more horse in here. We have to talk about defending champion Karen's Notion. I mean, he is trying to get back his crown. Won this last year for trainer Nancy Howe. Owner, breeder, trainer, really emotional victory. This horse had a bit of a break, had some issues, is now coming back, really raced himself into fitness.
I think so. I mean, he's fallen on hard times. There's no doubt about that. Nancy Heil, wonderful, but probably not going to get one really geared up to come back off of a layoff. Going to have, as you mentioned, run back into fitness. Showed up with a pretty good race in his last start, 2 out of the van, run second, gets beat 3 lengths. I like the fact that he laid off the pace a little bit and passed horses and tried to come. I would like to see that happen again today. I think if he tries to go, pedal to the metal from the beginning, he's going to be in trouble. But
yes, I agree.
We'll see if it happens or not. But look, I'm always rooting for him. He is a defending champ, and he needs mention.
It would be an absolute lovely story to see him back in the winner's circle for this year's Maryland Million Sprint. The feature race of the day, the 36th running of the Maryland Million Classic. A mile and an eighth for 3-year-olds and upwards. And Tim, both you and I have big dreams, dream big dreams on top in here. Let's look back at his last outing, because this race, this is the reason I use this horse on top. Look, aside from the fact he's a 3-year-old, he's getting a weight break of 6 pounds in comparison to your morning line favorite Tapping Cat. He didn't start running until the final quarter of the race. You see him steaming down the center there. I feel like this added 16 distance is just going to bring out the best in him.
I do. And who does this better than Fergal Lynch? The answer is nobody. He knows you don't have to win by 4. You just have to win. Save my horse, save my horse. I'm going to be the fastest horse in the last eighth of a mile. And how much does it work for Fergal? You see it happen all the time. But look, as I wrote in commentary, at first glance you look at this horse and you just think he might be in a little tough. But when you look deeper, by Bandbox out of that Quiet American mare, Buff Girl, the distance, I think he wants more of it. He's going to get it this afternoon. And, of course, he's got Brittany Russell going for him. He's had a work since that last race. Brittany's horse will win 2 in a row. I mean, he's just got a lot of things going for him. Yes. And I think he's getting right at the right time.
Yeah, and this is the first runner in the Maryland Million Classic for trainer Brittany Russell, and he did best Elders in that last outing, ran against Elders before that, so I really don't see that being a problem. The number 8 Tapping Cat is your morning line favorite, Governor Day Handicap Victor. Look, he is giving the 3-year-olds to 6 pounds, was 3rd in the Maryland Million Classic in 2019 as a 3-year-old, 2nd in the Start of NASCAR that year. Right now, in incredible form, looking for a 4th consecutive win. I don't like the draw, though. I don't like that he's on the outside. He's got a bit of time, but he's going to be used to go forward. He has to be used to get there.
He'll have to be used a little bit, no doubt about it. Long run to the turn. Well, reasonable run to the turn, going a mile and an eighth here. He comes in here with a sharp work, 113 and change. I don't want to take anything away from him. But those 2 Delaware races are always a little suspect to me. He fires a 91 and a 92 in his last 2 races up there at Delaware. They're big figures. There's no doubt about it. But then you start looking at his other races here in Maryland, and the numbers aren't as good. The speed figures simply aren't as good, and they really haven't been as good here at Laurel Park. So he's in good form. No doubt about that. He'll be going probably to the front, but I think he might have a hard time hanging on all the way around there.
Yeah, and I quickly want to mention the number 7, the poser for Hamilton Smith as well. Hamilton Smith has won 8 Maryland Million races today, but never a classic. Big unit of a horse. I think he's going to enjoy getting back to Laurel. But we do have a couple of other points to still discuss, so we'll finish things off with race number 12 here. Another Maryland Million turf starter handicap here. Mile and an eighth Both you and I, Tim, I use the 1, you use the number 4 on top. The number 4, Jumpstart My Heart, of course, a closer for trainer Dale Capuano, who's, I think, finding an easier group here.
Yeah, this was a dart race, throw the dart. But my dart landed on Jumpstart My Heart, and this is why. She is a defending champion here in this particular race. This is the first time she gets back on the Laurel turf since last year. She hasn't seen the Laurel turf since last November.
Yep.
She likes it here. She's getting back home. She's going to be able to be led right out of her stall over here, and I'm going to give her the shot 5-1 on the morning line.
I'm taking a bit of a flyer with the number 1, Clarence Darling, stretching out for the first time ever. First off the claim for Dale. Look, if he's stretching her out this far, the first time she starts in his barn, I think he's on to some. She's by imagining. I think they can stay the distance for sure. She's got early speed. I think this could work, and I'm taking a flyer in this spot as well as we move along to lightning round to finish things off for this morning's show. Of course, we have to mention this week's story. Veteran rider Mario Pino hits 7,000 wins. Only the 10th jockey in North America to ride 7,000 winners. That was his winning race there, race number 4 at Presque Isle Downs. Look, incredible achievement. Has decided to call it a day afterwards, but what a career.
Oh, what a career. And a lot of those wins, probably most of those wins, have come right here in Maryland at Laurel, Pimlico. He was a bug boy an apprentice rider. I know you don't like bug boy. An apprentice rider here in Maryland, and just a genuinely good guy. Rode a lot of horses for me. And quick brief story, he's on vacation. I have a horse in a stake in New Jersey. And he's vacation in New Jersey. Peen, can you come ride this filly? I'm on vacation. I'll come up. Comes up the Jersey Turnpike, rides the filly at Monmouth, gets the job done, goes back on vacation. Just a really, really good guy. And congratulations to Mario Pino.
Yeah, that's actually incredible story. Highlights include the second in the Breeders' Cup Classic on the Hard Spun in 2007, second in the Kentucky Derby on the same horse in 2007 as well, and third in the Preakness, all on the aforementioned Hard Spun. So terrific career here. But talking about careers, Michael Trombetta, I alluded to it beforehand, is looking for that 2,000 winner. Look, he's got a fair few in here today. Can he get it done?
I hope he gets it done. Wouldn't you want to get it done on Maryland Million Day? If you can't get it done on Preakness Day, get it done on Maryland Million Day. So I'm wishing Mike Trombetta the best of luck as he's two winners away from a huge milestone. Has been just a consummate professional throughout his career. And look at his clientele list. His clientele list is deep. So he's doing a good job, and people pay attention to him. So I'm wishing Mike all the best.
Yeah, has Torch of Truth in today's feature race, the Maryland Million Classic. And I was discussing this before. This filly, 4-year-old Hello Beautiful, is looking to write history here to become the 7th horse ever to win 3 Maryland Million races. She's trying to do it in a row as well. I did get the chance to catch up with trainer of Hello Beautiful, Brittany Russell, to see how she's been doing.
She's training great. She came out of that last one. You would have never known that she had raced. She went right back to the track bouncing, and she's trained forwardly since. That's always the question when she runs. But she seems to be the fastest horse too. I mean, you see how quick she left there last time. If she gets away well, you don't take anything away from her. So probably, she'll be close and probably on the front. It's just nice to have her around in good form still. If she continues, if she improves, if she stays where she was last year, she wins this race. It's what we want and what we hoped for. But we just hope we can keep her around and potentially race her next year too. She's so special. I mean, she's behind me here in the first stall, and she's the same filly every day. She's the same filly when you walk her over on race day, and she's done a lot for us, my career, giving Sheldon his 1,500 and, going for a 3rd Maryland Million on top of it. She has more of an air about her now. She knows she's good now, and she kind of just has this, just leave her alone, let her do her thing. She's she's Hello Beautiful. She's her own kind.
She knows she's good now. Absolutely love that filly. Really wish her the best of luck in the Maryland Million Distaff. And then we're finishing things off, of course, talking about the man who created the Maryland Million, Jim McKay.
Yeah, Jim McKay. It's I'll try to get through this. Jim McKay, you weren't around earlier. You weren't from this country. You didn't grow up in the late 60s and 70s. But Jim McKay was the man. Wide world of sports. Called the tragedy at the Munich Olympics in 1972. Of course, a lot of Kentucky Derbies and Preakness Stakes. He was the voice of those races for a very, very long time. Maryland native. He's great.
I can tell what he means to you and what he means to the Maryland Million circuit, what he's done for racing here. And of course, we remember him annually with the running of the Maryland Millions. 36th running today. We are about to kick things off at 11:30 post time. Naomi Jucker, Tim, you will join on set again later on with Callie as well. I'll give everyone the scoop on how all the horses are looking. But you know what? This is going to be a terrific day. So happy to do it alongside you and Callie. And of course, wish everyone, as well as my colleagues, the best of luck.
Good luck, everybody.